Now you see, Mike and I aren't as old as we look because we both know what K-pop and K-drama is because we looked it up just before Gangnam Style.
Yeah.
Yes,
we
K-pop.
looked it up just before you came on.
Okay, so you know a little bit. Yeah, so it's become a recent obsession. I Gangnam Style was back in 2012 when I think that's when sort of Korean culture and all that came to light in the Western world. But I kind of got into it more recently, about a year or so ago, and I'm never looking back. I only watch Korean dramas now. I kind of pretty much only listen to K-pop music now, and my family and friends think it's so weird and sad, but I get so much joy out of it. And yeah, I just think that their shows are so well done, and the music is just, it's so different when you're used to listening to Western music, and for the first time you listen to music like that, you are like, what is this? It's just bright electric pop. Some of it is bubblegum, some of it is like proper like heavy. You're just like, this is just too much. But I got sucked into it, and now I'm hooked, and I don't think I will ever be able to get out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So do you have any views on the repression of the artists by the management companies?
Yes, I don't think that is a great part. There is the dark side of K-pop, definitely. Because they don't, the differences in the way they get into that industry compared to how Western artists start out and continue in that industry is very different. So Western artists, you either get lucky, you have talent, you sing, and you get picked up, and you get your career made. Over there, their artists are known as idols, and they have to go through extensive training if they're lucky enough to be picked, not only to be good at singing, but to be good at dancing, at performing, and be good looking. And they go through vigorous training processes for years and years to maybe not even be chosen, to then be performed into bands most of the time, and then be expected to perform. And I do think there is an element of exploitation to that, because a lot of them go into it so young. I think you can liken it to a bit like X Factor, but on steroids and way more intense. So I do feel like that is a really dark side to K-pop. There are certain music labels in the Korean industry out there to change that and to be more fairer to their artists. But yeah, it's a huge problem there, and it's something that needs to change,
because they live, some of them almost live in a sterile environment, don't they? And that they're I suppose prisoners is too strong a word to use, but they are.
Well, they were accused, weren't they? Some of them of being modern slavers.
It is. I think the type of contracts they sign, it is very, very restrictive. They are allowed a certain allowance, or not allowed any money at all. Or some idols in their training years have to, sign a contract saying they won't date anyone. They're not allowed to date anyone.
That came up recently, didn't it? Didn't one of the K-pop idols actually come out as having a boyfriend, and she got pretty much drummed out of the industry? If I remember rightly.
Yep. It happened. Right. It's so brutal, the way that they are seen if they have any sort of dating scandal or seen out with a boy or a girl. They immediately get cancelled. I think a lot of that is to do with the image that the labels and the higher ups create, that this idol is perfect and it should be seen as attainable to their fans. Right. So in that twisted way that their fans can somehow end up dating them, I think it feeds that fantasy, because I think that fantasy keeps the industry going.
Interesting. So what did you listen to before K-pop?
Mainly sort of R&B, hip hop.
Okay.
Very, very different vibe.
Yeah, very different.
yeah, I mean, I still do listen to it. It's just K-pop sort of taken over. My husband says temporarily. He's praying for the day that it stops.
So he's still into R&B and hip hop.
Oh yeah, he's still in there, and he tries to like pull me back. I'm like, no.
My poor long-suffering wife. We have one of those Google things that you say. I won't say it, but
no, don't say it because mine will switch on.
The mics go on, but you say, whatever Google, play such and such, and whatever I play, after 2 or 3 iterations, it plays real cheese, because all the algorithms it knows about me are that I like naff music. And so I'd probably, if I went and said, okay, play some K-pop now, it would. And then the one after that would be Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. And then there'd be Demis Roussos. And, the night would get better for me, but...
He's very old, Janika. I'll explain to you about Demis Roussos and these people.
Please do, I don't know. I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
I don't know who they are.
I need to apologise for listening to Demis Roussos. I was trying to illustrate that point. No one listens to the stuff I listen to. They did it in the 70s, not anymore.
Well, 1870s maybe.
Yes. So is K-drama the same sort of thing? Is it, have these people been raised as young neophytes to become actors?
Not necessarily, no. They're more just sort of actors going through traditional acting school, but you do get a lot of idols, so the artists that do act in K-dramas, so they can come in through it that way.
Right.
Yeah, but most K-drama actors are sort of the standard sort of training process.
And you can get them on Netflix and things like that, can you? Or...
Netflix, yeah. Netflix, there's a specific website called Viki, linked with Hulu, that just show all types of Korean, Japanese and Chinese dramas.
It's like
other streaming services are available.
Hey, that's our line. You can't use that line.
And now we break normal transmission for a little bit of K-pop. Come on, you youngsters, dance along with us.
Yes.